Hi, and thank you for watching. This is a recorded presentation on the Envision Eugene Comprehensive Plan in Phase 2 of its development, which I'll be referring to as the Comprehensive Plan throughout the presentation. My name is Stuart Warren. I'm an Associate Planner on the Community Planning and Design team. The Comprehensive Plan is one component of urban growth strategies, which will identify the tools, actions, policies, and land needed for the next 20 years for living wage jobs and housing that everyone can afford. This work will result in studies of what land is available in Eugene, updates to the comprehensive plan, other adopted city plans and land use regulations, a parcel-specific land use designation map, and an evaluation of whether there is a need to expand the urban growth boundary, or UGB. This presentation is the first in a series on the comprehensive plan. At the end of the presentation, there are detailed instructions on how to provide your input. In this presentation, I will discuss what a comprehensive plan is and some of the state requirements. I will provide some project background, discuss the current project, Phase 2, and lastly, discuss next steps and how to provide your input. Over the next several months, our team will be releasing a series of surveys designed to collect community input on the draft goals and policies for this phase of the project. They'll be posted on the project's Engage Eugene webpage. There's a link for the project Engage Eugene page on this slide, in the video description, and at the end of the presentation. Urban growth strategies is broken into 4 phases, including identifying Eugene's needs and priorities for housing, studying what land is needed for jobs, housing, parks, schools, and infrastructure. Then, using what is learned, create and update the regulations, guidelines, and maps for using land in Eugene. After we've completed all these studies and changes, we will likely be required to expand the urban growth boundary. The comprehensive plan will contain many of these new and updated regulations, guidelines, and maps. Let's talk about what a comprehensive plan is. The comprehensive plan guides the city in its land use planning for future growth within the urban growth boundary. The Envision Eugene community vision describes Eugene's existing environmental, economic, and human context. It contains 7 pillars that express shared community values in Eugene and provide the foundation for which the city plans for growth. Each chapter has a series of goals that articulate the overarching aspirations of the community. They are broad statements that describe our hopes for the way our community will grow. These goals are being developed in response to years of community engagement through Envision Eugene and current needs and priorities that we are hearing from the community through ongoing community engagement activities. Each chapter also contains policies intended to help our city attain its goals. These policies will provide a consistent course of action and move the community towards attainment of its goals. Once adopted, the policies guide the work of the city manager and staff in formulating proposed changes to development regulations, long-range planning projects, and financial decisions. I wanted to provide an example of how the comprehensive plan is drafted using some of the currently adopted goals and policies. In this example, the community vision is represented by the Envision Eugene pillar for economic opportunity, which reads, "Provide ample economic opportunity for all community members." Chapter 3 of the adopted comprehensive plan is on economic development. One of the goals in this chapter is to encourage business development that leads to a higher employment rate and economic climate where business ventures grow and thrive with the land, zoning, and infrastructure they require. To realize that goal and the community's vision, Eugene adopted a policy called Health and Wellness, which promotes the development of expanded opportunities in the health and wellness sectors, including healthcare, biomedical research and development, and facets of healthy living, such as active transportation and outdoor recreation. In Oregon, no presentation about comprehensive planning would be complete without a bit of background on our unique statewide planning system. Established in 1973 by Senate Bill 100 and heavily influenced by former Governor Tom McCall, Oregon has 19 statewide planning goals. The original intent of the planning system was to protect farm and forest lands from urban sprawl. The statewide planning goals that apply to Eugene are reflected in the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan. A few requirements from these statewide planning goals include the adoption of a comprehensive plan and an urban growth boundary, or UGB. I will talk more about Eugene's currently adopted UGB in a few slides. At this point in the presentation, I'm going to give some more information on the background of Eugene's comprehensive plan. Historically, Eugene, Springfield, and Lane County have shared a regional comprehensive plan called the Eugene-Springfield Metropolitan Area General Plan, or Metro Plan for short. In 2007, House Bill 3337 required Eugene and Springfield to create their own local comprehensive plans and UGBs. Because of the resource-intensive nature of moving from one comprehensive plan to another, the Envision Eugene Comprehensive Plan is being developed in 3 phases. The first phase of the comprehensive plan was adopted in 2017 with Eugene's new UGB. Phase 2, the current phase, is scheduled for completion in 2026. And the final phase, phase 3, is not yet on our work plan. Phase 1 of the comprehensive plan included adopted chapters on economic development, transportation, administration and implementation, and the UGB. It also included an introduction, glossary, and appendices. The appendices include a map of the UGB and 2 land supply studies. The map of the UGB established a Eugene-specific UGB and is our current boundary for which we plan for growth, and it's pictured on the right. It contained an adequate supply of lands for the planning period between 2012 and 2032 for jobs, housing, parks, schools, and other public facilities and services. UGBs have never been intended to be static, and the state requires each city to study the supply of buildable lands inside the UGB. Part of the work included in this project is studying what Eugene land's needs are for the next 20 years and potentially expanding the UGB to meet those needs. Goals and policies in the comprehensive plan guide how that land can be used. Phase 2, the current phase, is scheduled for completion in 2026, when the Eugene City Council and Lane County Board of Commissioners will consider these new chapters for adoption. This phase includes chapters on community engagement, compact development, housing, community health, public facilities and services, and land use. The land use chapter will include a parcel-specific land use designation map to replace the Metro Plan diagram within Eugene's UGB. We'll be uploading videos like this one on each chapter that dives deeper into their draft goals and policies. At the end of the presentation, I'll share more information on how you can provide input on each chapter. Phase 3 will include the final 2 chapters for the comprehensive plan. It will include chapters on natural resources and environmental quality and community resilience. We don't know yet when this phase will begin. Now I'm going to talk more about how Phase 2 is being created, including what work has been done and what work still needs to be completed. Phase 2 was initiated in January of 2024 along with urban growth strategies. In February of 2024, the Eugene Planning Commission approved the Community Engagement Plan, and ever since, city staff have been busy understanding the needs and priorities of the Eugene community. To learn more about what we heard from the community, check out the 2024 Community Engagement Summary posted on the Urban Growth Strategies website. City staff have also been busy conducting research on other cities' comprehensive plans. Using what we have learned from the community and our research, staff have begun drafting goals and policies for the chapters included in this phase. Those draft goals and policies have been working through a collaborative process with our project management team and city staff from other departments and divisions who work in similar topic areas. In 2025, we will continue engaging the community and will be asking for their input on our draft goals and policies. A few examples of our upcoming engagement includes working with a housing and developer working group and an equity advisory panel. We'll also be working with the Eugene Planning Commission, City Council, and other boards and commissions, including the Lane County Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners, to gather their input and direction. As we learn more about our community's needs and priorities, we will continue to shape our draft goals and policies in response. And in 2025, staff will begin drafting land use code and metro plan amendments. In 2026, we are striving to have our draft chapters finalized. We will continue drafting the adoption package and prepare for formal public hearings with the Planning Commission, City Council, and Lane County Planning Commission and Board of Commissioners. In 2026, both the Eugene City Council and Lane County Board of Commissioners will consider adoption of Phase 2. Lane County must also adopt Phase 2 because it still has jurisdiction over the lands between the city limits and the UGB. You can learn more about the currently adopted comprehensive plan and view the draft chapters by visiting the project webpage. You can also engage in the project by visiting our Engage Eugene page. We'll be posting videos like this one and surveys for each draft chapter on this page. You can also scan the QR code, which will take you straight to our Engage Eugene page. Surveys will be open until the end of July, and we encourage you to take them and let us know what you think. And lastly, feel free to reach out to project staff with your questions, thoughts, and feedback by sending us an email. With that, I want to say thank you for watching this presentation and taking the time to learn more about the Envision Eugene Comprehensive Plan.